Hi, Gary Pretty here. I'm an engineer on the Microsoft Bot Framework SDK team, and last week I was lucky enough to attend the Ignite conference in Orlando, where we had a shed load of conversational AI announcements. And it would have been pretty easy to miss those in the chaos that was A, the conference. It was so big, so huge, you can't take everything in. And B, my social media stream. So I can only imagine that everybody else's social media streams were just as busy. So I wanted to post a video with a few of those key announcements summarised, and I'm going to post some links to some related materials in the notes for this video. So firstly, the Bot Framework SDK team, we shipped version 4.6 of the C# and JavaScript SDKs, packed full of some new features, quality updates, etc. And we also managed to get new preview versions of both the Python and Java SDKs out there as well. And they are really building some momentum as well. So if you're interested in building bots with Python or Java, I definitely suggest that you check out the GitHub repositories for those and see what the experience is like now, because they've come a long way over the last few months. Specifically within the SDK for C# and JavaScript, we added some new features specifically for building bots in teams. We've had some feedback that building bots for sort of one-on-one chat conversations, similar to how you would have a conversation, say in web chat, that's always been straightforward. But we really wanted to make sure that the experience for building bots that really light up in teams and use the features that are available was straightforward. And so we've added some bits into the SDK specifically to allow you to handle things like proactive conversations, proactive notifications, and having a bot be able to sit within a channel and listen to what's happening, or have the ability for users to reach out to that bot. Which is obviously a very different thing to having a one-on-one conversation. So all of these things are now much easier. We have a whole suite of samples available showing you each of those scenarios. So I'd really encourage you, if you are in a position where you're building bots for Teams, or you use Teams right now and think that actually a bot could be useful, then definitely go and check out those new bits in version 4.6. The other thing that we have released in 4.6 is the notion of skills. Now, for anybody who's been paying attention or has been using the Microsoft Virtual Assistant Accelerator, which is something that's built by another team within Fuse Labs at Microsoft, you'll know the idea of skills. It's the idea that as bots get bigger, they get more complex, then you don't always want to have everything within a single web application. And so sometimes you might want to democratize the ability to build those bots across an organization. So the idea of skills is almost like a parent-child scenario for bots, where you have a single front door, a single bot that your users can speak to, but then you can have various bots that act as skills that will help users achieve various use cases. So for example, you might have a HR bot that's built to handle things like annual leave booking or looking up details around the HR policies. Or you might have an ITSM skill, which, for example, is integrated with ServiceNow. These could be developed by two completely different teams. And what we've done is taken the idea of skills and baked it straight into the SDK, so that now any bot that you build can become a skill with no code changes. And then you can call out to that skill bot from your parent bot. This makes this idea of sort of democratized development much easier, and also allows you to really componentize and build out your bots in a much easier way. The next thing I want to talk about is Composer. Composer was big news at the Ignite conference and was a key milestone for us. We pushed our new Composer tool into public preview. It's something that's been asked for a long time. Composer is essentially your no-code, low-code solution for building bots. It's a visual IDE for building out conversations, and is fully open source on GitHub and is available now. The great news about Composer is it's fully integrated with the V4 SDK, so you could build a bot within Composer using all of the same paradigms and concepts that you're used to within, if you're building a bot with code, so things like prompts, dialogues, etc. We can call out to language understanding. Actually, the ability to build and train your language understanding models is baked right into the Composer IDE, which is phenomenal. Also, language generation. So we've got a new concept that's recently been placed into the SDK, the ability for you to use a markdown syntax to describe the responses that your bot should use. You can, for example, provide multiple responses for the same scenario and the bot will actually select a random one. Again, the ability to author this, what we call LG content, is actually baked straight into Composer as well. But I think the key thing for me and the biggest benefit of Composer is the fact that it is so fully integrated and built on top of the V4 SDK, means that if you do hit the point where actually you've got an existing investment in V4 and you don't want to throw that away, or you simply hit a point where you do need to go and build something with the SDK, with code, you can do that. So any bot that you build in Composer can be a skill, and also Composer can call out to skill bots. So that idea of skills that I was talking about earlier on, which is, for me, it's fantastic. So far, it's been really well received. And my colleague Ben Brown posted a video walking through the Composer tool and showing you how you can build a simple weather bot. I'd really encourage you to go and check that out. Everybody who I've spoken to so far that's seen the tool really, really loves it. Finally, the other thing I wanted to mention is human handoff. So we've been doing some work within the team to explore how can we more easily allow you to hand off from a bot to a human agent. And as part of that work, this last week we released an integration with LivePerson. So for those of you who don't know, LivePerson is one of the globe's biggest providers, or it's like a live chat platform where you can put live chats with customer agents into your website or your mobile application. And the integration example that we've released allows you to actually place a bot framework bot as another agent within LivePerson. So again, I'll link to that in the notes. Please go and check that out. And as I say, this is just one step, one possible way that you can do human handoff, but it's a really nice integration. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking to have that sort of capability within your organization. Now, there's a ton of things that I could have talked about on this video that I've just not got time for. So things like there's been loads of updates to the virtual assistant solution accelerator, some new skills that have been released for that. One really popular one was actually a ServiceNow skill, which is currently in it's an experimental skill that has been made available in the GitHub repository by the Bot Builder Solutions team. Really worth checking out there. We've also seen a new channel, direct line speech, for voice optimized bots, and a new adapter which allows you to expose your bot via WeChat. So if you're interested in any of those bits or the things that I've talked about today, please go and check out the overview blog post that I'll link to and all of the related materials. I hope that's been useful just to summarize some of the things that we announced last week. There are plenty more. If you are interested in finding out more about this content, please follow me on Twitter @GaryPretty, or you can reach out to me using all the usual methods. My blog, garypretty.co.uk. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.